Welcome to the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. This is your go-to resource for personal growth, mastering communication, and influencing and persuasion techniques that will help you unleash the full potential of yourself and others. Here is your host, Alex Morgan.
Welcome back. This is episode 16 of the Hyper Growth Zone podcast, and my name is Alex Morgan, and I'm a master trainer of hypnosis and NLP. And in this episode, we're going to talk about limiting decisions. And I also have an important announcement. I did just finish writing my fourth book, The Transformative Power of NLP. So I'm currently making some final edits, so you can look out for that on Amazon coming in January of 2024. So we're going to jump right into it and talk about limiting beliefs and limiting decisions in this podcast, because there's so much information out there about overcome limiting beliefs. You can really just overcome any belief. It's that easy. Well, the thing is it is. And I'm going to make it very concise so you can really understand how easy it is, because there is lots of information out there. So I'll give you some simple and easy things to follow so you can recognize limiting beliefs. And I'll give you even some questions that you can ask yourself to release those limiting beliefs. The first thing that I really want you to understand, so just pay attention to this part carefully. Many limiting beliefs that you have, it's not your fault that you have them. The important thing is, though, is that you need to recognize now that, hey, I have limiting beliefs. There's something limiting me to getting what I want. And we'll talk about what limiting beliefs are in a second, but let me explain where some of these come from. Now, from ages 0 to 7, you walk around the world like a little unconscious mind, and you're soaking up everything around you like a sponge. You hear your parents talking. Maybe they say they don't have enough money to pay the bills. That could give you a limiting belief that I can't make enough money. Maybe you hear people complaining all the time when you're a kid. You hear people fighting. Maybe that makes you think that you don't deserve it or you're not good enough. So from ages 0 to 7, you picked up all these limiting beliefs. It's not your fault. You went through all of this. Now you can realize, hey, I have these limiting beliefs. And good thing you're listening, because now you can do something about them. And it's funny, recently I saw someone post something, and what they said was they were making a list of some things that they really, really wanted. And there were some really ambitious things on this list. And so they were telling their kid about all the things on this list, and their kid told them, hey, that sounds really hard. I don't think you could ever get some of these things. And the mother thought, wow, I've actually been, with my beliefs, limiting my child, because why else would my child say that? If I was installing really empowering beliefs in my child, then they would have told me something completely different. They would have told me, wow, yes, we can easily and effortlessly achieve all of these things. So it's especially important, if you are a parent or you're around kids a lot, to really be conscious of the things that you do and the language that you use, because you could be putting limiting beliefs that you were given, remember, it's not your fault, onto children as well. So if you have kids, this is very important. Really, it's important to everyone. So just be very conscious of what you're doing and what language you're using, because that's how people can develop limiting beliefs. And that's the thing, language. We don't actually many times have a problem until we put language around it. Then once we put language around it, then it actually becomes a problem in our neurology. Because if we just heard a fight and we thought, okay, no problem. However, if we think, oh, they're talking about money, now I can't make enough money. Now you've put language on this problem. So that's just a little overview. And now let's go ahead and look at what are different limiting beliefs. So the first thing, the way that kind of tips us off to thinking, oh, wow, that's a limiting belief of mine, is anything that we can't feel. So if someone is just saying, if we hear someone saying, or you're telling yourself, I just don't feel confident. Well, guess what? Since you don't feel confident, that's a limiting belief. And you can ask yourself, when did you decide that? By asking yourself, when did you decide that? That can really help you know, when did this happen? You probably had this belief for many, many years. And there's no sense in hanging on to limiting beliefs for years. And that's the great thing about NLP and hypnosis is you can get rid of decades, literally decades of problems very easily. So if you want help getting rid of any of these limiting beliefs, definitely reach out to me. All my contact information will be in the description of the episode. Other things that are limiting beliefs, negations. So when people say they're not capable, or I don't feel like people care, or I can't make the money that I really, really want, they're negating the fact that they can't do something. So if you're doing that or you're hearing this, know that guess what? That's a limiting belief. Or anytime we're using comparative words. So something like, I wish I could do more of that, make more money, or I'm not good enough, or I want to feel more confident. I want to feel better like that person. So again, when did you decide that? How long have you thought this? And the thing is, the more we hold on to these beliefs, they also have negative emotions probably attached to them. So the more we hang on to them and the longer that they're in your body and in your mind, they could cause you to feel stress. And that could lead to a bunch of other physical problems. So make sure, for that sake, when we have negative emotions in the body, it's not good for our body. The main thing that our unconscious mind wants to do, it's definitely not hold on to limiting beliefs and negative emotions. It's to run your body and preserve your body. Your unconscious mind actually has a blueprint for perfect health. So what does that mean? Anytime that you fell when you were a child and had a scrape, it healed it. For example, when I was 10 years old, I broke my wrist. I went to the doctor. Of course, the doctor put a cast on it, and this helps you protect your arm so nothing happens to it, protected my wrist. However, my unconscious mind had the blueprint for perfect health, and it naturally and automatically healed my wrist to be healthy again. And your unconscious mind also wants to preserve your body. It wants you to be healthy. It wants you to feel good. And it's running your body when you're sleeping. It's pumping your blood, your heart, literally everything. So if you have negative emotions and limiting beliefs, then it's going to be fighting those things instead of giving your body good things. So really just think about that and take that into consideration because it's very important, because that'll actually help you feel good when you release limiting beliefs. So what else is a limiting belief? It could also be, like I was just kind of saying, it could be physiological issues. So many issues that result in different symptoms, those could have their roots in beliefs or decisions. So be very careful about what you're thinking and what you're keeping in your body. When those beliefs surface, when those negative emotions surface, instead of repressing them all the time, maybe now is the time to actually do something about them. So reach out to me if you need help with that. And the last thing that I want to bring up, it could be a negative emotion which is not at cause. So what does that mean? Well, cause and effect. When you're at effect, that means that you are giving yourself reasons or excuses of why you're not achieving what you want. You're pointing outside of yourself. You're blaming others. You're not taking responsibility. When we're at cause, we take responsibility and we have empowerment and we have results. So if you have negative emotions which are not at cause, your language might be something like, that person makes me so upset. That person makes me feel like I'm not good enough. That means you're giving your personal power of how you feel. One of the strongest things that you can do, you're giving your personal power to someone else to literally change how you think and how you feel. Do you think that's good for you? It certainly is not. So if you notice that you're doing that, that's fine. That's a great first step. So if you notice yourself using that language that someone else makes you do something or feel something, that can definitely be a limiting belief. And actually, there's one more. Any doubts are limiting decisions, are limiting beliefs. And at some point with all of these, you can ask yourself, when did you decide that? And your unconscious mind will reveal that answer to you. So that's an overview of how you can recognize limiting beliefs. There's many things. And remember, you pick these up most likely from other people because you were walking around as a child, a little unconscious mind, a sponge, and you pick these up. And it's okay. I had a lot of these too. I've done work over the years to get rid of many of them. However, I'm not saying that I never doubt myself. However, I've learned that if I doubt myself, then I need to do something about it. I need to get rid of it because I don't want that in my body, in my mind, because over time it's going to weaken you. We want to be strong. We want to take our personal power back. That's really important. So there's 3 questions that you can ask yourself to get rid of any limiting belief. So the first one we've already went over. When did you decide that? The second one, what can you learn from this? So this will have you start thinking in a different way and make sure those learnings are for you and they're positive and they're more pointing towards the future, not the past. And the third question, what can I do instead? So there has to be something else that you can do to get past this limiting belief. Because if you're going to do the same behaviors over and over, it's going to bring you the same result. So you need to do different behaviors because that's going to bring different results. And the whole point of things like NLP and hypnosis, it gives us little processes like this, like these 3 questions. And if we can follow these simple processes, then guess what? We can have predictable results. We're not going to be guessing, are we going to feel better? Are we going to get rid of limiting beliefs? No, with these simple little things, as long as we follow them and we take time to do them, we can actually get rid of these beliefs because we don't have to live with this stuff anymore. It's actually time to be limitless again. You had those limiting beliefs. They may have been pushed onto you from other people. It's not your fault. However, now it's time, since you're listening to this, I'm sure you actually want to do something about it. So now you can be limitless again. You can make new choices. You can learn new things. You can push yourself every day, not just out of the comfort zone, out of the growth zone, into the hyper growth zone. You can take risks. And that'll become easy and effortless for you because you'll want to keep doing it. So the reason that we can also easily overcome limiting beliefs is think of something like this. Let's say that you're trying to achieve something and there's some sort of obstacle or challenge or boundary or box, like you're stuck in a box and you can't get out. You're thinking the same thing and you just need a new way to think out of the box. So imagine there's a boundary and it's stopping you. Well, what is that boundary made up of? It's actually made up of 3 things. It's made up of your attitudes, it's made up of your beliefs, and it's made up of your values. So think, all you have to do to get beyond this boundary is you have to change your attitude, you have to change your beliefs, and if you can do that, then definitely you can change your values. So if you change those 3 things in your thinking, then you can really get by any boundary. So why are those actually making up the part of the boundary? Well, usually when we go to achieve something that we haven't achieved before, there's usually some sort of resistance because we maybe don't believe it because we haven't done it before yet. So that's why those beliefs are there. And all those beliefs are, it's just how we filter the world. So when we see something new and we're not sure we can do it, we're filtering it with this belief that we're not sure that we can do it. So if we change that belief to really think like, hey, I can totally do this. I can have it all. I deserve it all and more. Guess what? We can easily get past that problem. That also, when we change the belief, it's changing our attitude, because now we feel good about getting past this. Changing values is also very easy. Now, the thing is we actually have values in all areas of life. So this could be something like personal growth, family, business, health, whatever it is. So let's say we're trying to achieve and get past a boundary in business. And what if our number one value in business is love? Well, guess what? We're going to be looking for love in business. Is that really going to help us get past that boundary? No, that's actually a misplaced value. So if we think we deserve it all and more, but our value is love, that's misplaced. We're just going to believe we think we have it all and more in love. However, why not have it be something like money or success or excellence or results? These are some that are important to me. However, you need to ask yourself, what is important to you about achieving something in business? These are ones that I've come up with for myself. So these values, if they're placed correctly in business, which they are for me, then those motivate me. So what motivates me in business to get past problems? If I can make money, if I can help people get results, if I can achieve my success for myself and for clients, and if I can help us both achieve excellence, well, then that's going to help me get past a boundary. So if we have values that really motivate us towards what we want, and there's no conflict, and if we could change our belief and also our attitude, guess what? We're going to get past that boundary. And then maybe later we run into another boundary. And that's fine, because we're constantly evolving. It never stops. We can always grow. We can always get better. We can always build better attitudes. We can always build more belief in ourselves. We can always build more powerful motivation towards our values. And the thing about values is they're what's important to us. And we're going to put time, money, and energy into getting our values. So that's why it's super important that you have the right ones placed in the right areas of your life so you can blow past new boundaries. And that's fine if the values change. After maybe you earn a certain amount of money, maybe money isn't as important. Maybe results is that much more important to you. And your beliefs, those may change in a way. However, they're just going to get bigger and more powerful and more empowering for you. So the more you get past these boundaries, you're just going to run into higher level problems that are probably going to be more fun to solve. And that's the thing. Once we have belief in ourselves, we're going to run into more situations. However, we're going to run into more situations with more confidence. And it's going to be more exciting for us because we know that we've gotten plenty of results in the past. So why wouldn't we be able to also get more results in the future? So that's essentially it, a boundary. It's made up of those attitudes, those beliefs, and those values. And if we can just change those, which is very easily, we can just change little things in our thinking. So if we see an event, again, coming from the outside, and we're filtering it a certain way, I'm going to filter an event from the outside totally different from you because I have different attitudes. I have different beliefs. I have different values. I haven't been in every situation that you've been in. So we're all going to filter something differently. And if we can have better attitudes, better beliefs, and better values, we can overcome so many obstacles. And the great thing is if we can change those along with how we feel internally, and there's a whole episode on how you can feel and control how you feel internally. So go make sure to check that out. It's actually one of the more popular episodes. Then that's going to lead to consistent and predictable results and behaviors. So make sure that you're looking out for limiting beliefs. Don't let them stop you in their tracks. Blow through those boundaries. Create new attitudes. Create new beliefs. Create new values, because those are going to make success that much easier for you. The thing is success is probably much easier than you think. You think you have to work hard, you have to grind, you have to do all these things. That's what's all over the internet. However, if you think about it, If you just make changes in your thinking and really put the work into your mind and working on yourself, however you need to do that, if you put effort there, you're not going to have to put as much effort in the physical world. Your reality will start to change just with your thinking. Of course, yes, you'll have to take action. However, get your mind aligned with what you want. Find out what's truly important to you and what really motivates you. And that's only going to happen from in your mind, because your values, your beliefs, all this stuff, it's unconscious. Most of it is highly unconscious. So if you spend time working on your unconscious mind and reprogramming that and putting the effort in there, everything else is going to be that much easier for you. You'll get predictable results and you'll feel good. You won't have those negative beliefs and negative emotions in your body. Nothing will be limiting you, and success will be that much easier. And once your unconscious mind starts to see good, it's going to want to see good everywhere. Your unconscious mind loves to generalize. I've mentioned this in other podcasts. However, it's worth mentioning here. And the other thing the unconscious mind wants to do is it needs a bit of repetition to create a habit. So once you start doing this, once you start getting used to changing your attitudes, your beliefs, and your values, once you get used to taking responsibility, guess what? Your unconscious mind will create so much more for you because it sees that you're putting effort in your mind. So I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. I appreciate you listening, and wherever you're listening, go ahead and leave an honest review. I'd love to get feedback. And if you need help with anything, go ahead and look at all my contact information in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening, and see you on the next episode.